Hello, today I'm going to share how to use some different formulas in Google Docs to create some login information for students. Now I have some student information I already have here. I've gotten this out of a list of an ad hoc report out of Infinite Campus that the school secretary was able to provide. It has the student's grade, their teacher, their last name, their first name, and their student ID number. What I want to do is create some login information. I want to create their username, their email address, and then their student password. Their username is the last 5 digits of their last name, the first initial of their first name, and then the last 4 digits of their student ID. So I need to extract that information from their first name, last name, and student ID, and then I need to put it all together to create a username and then their password as well. So what you do, the first formula, and you can see it here, is equals left C2 and then 5. So what that does is in cell C2, it takes from the left, starting on the left, the 5 letters that you want. And you do that, it takes, Anderkin here, it turns it into Ander, and then I use this little copy function to copy that formula down all the way to the end of the sheet. So here I'll do equals left because we want it to start on the left. We'll do cell E2, comma, and then we only want the first initial, so I just put 1. Again, if we wanted the first 3, if we wanted MAL, then we would put 3. But I just do 1, so that just spits out a 1. And then I copy this down all the way to the bottom of the sheet, and then it gives me everyone's first initial. Now with the student ID number, I want the last 4, so instead of equals left, I do equals right, so that way it takes the letters from the right. We'll just start in this cell, G2. I put a comma in, and I want the last 4, so I just put a 4 in there, and that automatically just takes out the last 4. So again, I click on that formula. There's this little box in the lower right-hand corner. I click on that. I drag it all the way down to the bottom, and here 9957, 9957, it automatically gives you the last 4 of their name. Now to combine it, I use another formula. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but it's concatenate. So I put equals CON, and it just pops up right here for you. And as it says, this adds strings together. So now to create the username, I just put equal concatenate. I just click on that. I put a comma, click on the first initial, put a comma, click on their last 4, end the parentheses, and I hit return. And now it has just created the student username. It added those 3 different columns together. So again, I just click on it, I drag it down, and all of those usernames are automatically created. I can do the same thing with an email. And with the password, what you can do, the password, you have to add a 0 in. So what I do is I take a column and I just create a column of zeros. And then I concatenate the zeros with the student ID number. So we'll put equals, concatenate, and we'll just do this column of zeros, put a comma, and then the actual student ID number, and then that creates their actual password. Copy it down, and it's good to go. Now for this, this number right there is reliant upon that formula. If I delete this, then it changes that formula. So what I can do is I can copy this, I can copy that column, and now when I hit paste special, values only. So when I do that, now when I click on it, it copies it in there, and if I delete this, then it's no longer affected by that because I've pasted the value only. So I can just go ahead, delete that column, and my passwords aren't changed. I could do the same thing with the username. You can still You can see here when I click on it, it's still showing the formula. If I copy it and then paste special, it will only be the text and not that. So you could use these formulas, equals left, equals right, concatenate, to extract information and then to combine it to create some usernames. Now once you have that the information, the logins, passwords, whatever you need to create, you can also use a program to mail merge it and create some labels. So here I just have a Google Doc and I'm using an add-on. If I go to add-on, I can click on Get Add-ons. One of the first ones that pops up will be Avery Label Merge. Now I'm doing this in Google Docs. It does not have a ton of options on the different label sizes, but you could always just export it as an Excel file. I could go to File and Download As. I could export it as an Excel file. I could bring it up in Excel and use Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel to mail merge it, and then there's a whole ton of options of different sizes that you can make the final product. So basically I'll click add-ons, I'll start the Avery label merge, I click new merge, then it opens up and it has me select a product. So this is what I was talking about. There's not a ton of different products in here. If you go to Microsoft Word, there's hundreds, at least hundreds of different options. So I want these to be kind of large, so I'm going to click only 14 per sheet instead of 30. So this is Avery product 5162. If you actually want to print it out on labels, you can go get that product. Otherwise, you can just print it off and cut it off on a piece of paper, laminate it as well. So I click select. Now what it's going to do is it's going to have me select the spreadsheet to get this information from. So I'll just click my student list, I'll click select, and then it will bring up another merging column over here. Now here's the column header names. So these are the names that are on top of my document. These are the ones that show up here. So for example, let's say I want to do, I could type in student name. I'll make that bold. And then I just click first name, space, and then I click last name. And now, that label is automatically going to enter that information. So I could return, I could do username, enter that, could do password, really whatever information you need to put, you can put it in here, right here. So I want to do email, I'll click email. And you can get fancy, you can bold this, you can do some different formatting things if you want to make it a little bit easier to read. Alright, so once I'm done with that, and I have it formatted like I want, maybe I want to put a space in there, whatever, this gives you an idea about how much space you have to work with. Then I hit the merge, and it's asking, do I want to merge the entire document or just some certain rows? So I'll do the entire document. I click on merge, it will think a little bit, and then it will basically create a new document that has all of that merged information together. From there you could print it off and make copies of it. You could print it off and actually print it onto labels or whatever you need to do with it. For my project of making student logins, I printed it off on labels, and then I took the labels, I put them on index cards, and we laminated them so that way the students would have a durable login card that they could use for the rest of the year. Here we go, it's created the document, done merging, so I just click open, and here, will pop up here in a second, will be all of the information merged together. Alright, here we go. And here is all of the information merged together. There's the spots I made bold, student name, username, password, email, really whatever you want to do. So if I could just print this off, and I could run it through a copy machine and put the labels in the bypass tray to print it off on labels. Otherwise, I could just print it off on plain paper and use a a paper cutter to cut it up, and I could just tape it or laminate it onto an index card or a different piece of paper. You can do whatever you need for your project. But there we go. So that's using some formulas and then an add-on to create some login information for the students. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you very much.